Yo, what's happening, people? It's Kanza here, and in today's video, I'm just going to briefly talk about my trip to the Mixup, which was really fun. Yeah, so I competed in Guilty Gear Strive's major event at Lyon in Paris. No, in France. There we go. In France, a place called Lyon. Mix-up tournament, and all in all, like the trip was okay. It was decent. It was like my first major event internationally. So yeah, it was a fun experience. I played Kai. I tried my best to play Kai throughout the whole tournament run. That was the goal. And I had a few games on stream, a couple that wasn't, and did pretty well overall. We ended up getting 13th out of about 120, I think, players in total, and there was a lot of big names there as well. So all in all, I'm kind of happy with how I did. Felt like I could have went further if I did a few more things a bit differently, but it's all experience at the end of the day. But yeah, I just wanted to briefly talk about like my experience with the tournament, how travel was, and then like next steps as well, like what's next for me, Guilty Gear related. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go straight into it. So the first thing to talk about is the tournament itself. I was obviously you're traveling abroad, you want to do well, so I was a little bit nervous. Played my first game. I was the first match on stream as well, so I was already really kind of nervous to play straight away, right? And I played against this person here called I don't know the name. It's on it's on the stream, my bad. But they're Potemkin player, and yeah, I was a bit nervous. I was like, okay, it's Potemkin, it shouldn't be too bad. And then they landed like a heavily Potemkin bust from me. It was really cool because they read me jumping, and I almost died for it. But I was just like, okay, I need to not like take this guy like lying down. I need to actually start fighting back. So we won that. Buckled up a bit, 3-0, and then I played. I think the person's name was BP Tank, someone from the UK actually. So it's kind of like a team kill if you look at it that way. See, it was UK versus UK. Zato player, played them. I won, and then my next match to get out of the pools into top 32 winner side, it was to beat White Black, and we won that. It's a kind of a close game, and it was interesting because I had played White Black. I think it was a year ago. There was a team tournament. I love team tournaments, by the way. They're really fun, and it was a 10v10. It was UK versus France, and White Black actually beat me, SSF, and I think it was Mystic as well, and then someone else took him out. And we were still a bit salty from back then. Like, oh my god, I can't believe we lost to that. But managed to get the run back like a year later or so on their home turf, if you want to put it that way. And yeah, it was fun. I was a bit like distraught when I played because obviously I was nervous. I know White Black's very good, and I know his character pool, like the amount of characters he plays, is quite vast as well. And he was already very strong back then on Soul, so I don't know if he was still playing or whatsoever. But it was White Black. So the first game he picked Ram, and I was like, oh. Yeah, I was on stream. Like, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I was on stream and I was just like, bro, this ain't good. This ain't good. We won though. We beat the Ram, and I was like, okay, let's go. Then he switched to Chip, and then the Chip versus my Kai matches, they were back and forth. But yeah, we managed to get the win, and then after that, winner's side. So I was just chilling for the rest of the day. Then the following day, played my first match against Leffen, who played Happy Chaos. I lost, and then like I wanted to win. I did want to win. Don't get me wrong. And I was doing research on the matchup. I was watching gameplay of like Kai versus HC from different players, getting advice. Spoke with some HC players, what things to like watch out for, because obviously the new Happy Chaos this patch is quite different from the old patch. The old patch, he just kind of zoned you out, right, and just shot you. This one's a lot more mix and semi-rush down heavy with like the rolls and then the 50-50s and the BRC, all of that nonsense, right? So we kind of got washed in that sense by the HC. I played it pretty poorly, to be fair. So we lost that, and then I was in the losers bracket, and then I was like, okay, we're not out the tournament yet. I just gotta, do my best to try and do a losers run and see how far I get, right? So I was like, cool. And then my first match in the losers bracket, top 32 was against Arifu, who's a Giovanna player. It wasn't streamed. I won that 3-1. And then right after that, I was in top 16, loser side. I had to play Uriel on stream. I lost that. It was a close, one of the games was pretty close. But it was just like one of those ones where I was like, I had to switch on it was game 3, I switched to Testament. Now, this is where like the next steps for me kicks in. One of the discussion things I want to talk about. Basically, it's like, in this current meta for Strive, I feel like the Strike Pro like characters, they're good, but like when you reach a point in the game where it's just like you're fighting these other characters and it's just their win conditions, their like set play and all this stuff, their rewards, their risk reward is just 10 times better than yours, and the way you have to beat them, or like the way you'll have to play the neutral and the game plan, is ridiculously hard. So like even against HC, everyone knows HC is busted. Trying to throw someone that's like constantly backdashing, throwing curses, putting like decoys, shooting you, and you can't really interact with it. You have to pray that you get in, and when you get in, you don't want to get counter hit or get hit by like 2k, 2d into all of that stuff, and then like Nago, 5k Baylor, you like Ram, like, do you know what I mean? Like it's really, really hard, and it's just basically like, if you're playing certain characters like Giovanna, I feel like Axel, Kai, and to some extent Soul, even though skill 1 burst fighting, but to some extent Soul as well, and a few others, like you can get character gapped like quite big in Strive just because of the nature of the game. It gets to that level where it's kind of like a 2-touch game. Now, HG doesn't necessarily 2-touch you all the time, but like Ram, Nago, those type of characters can. HG's just busted in his own way. He does have high damage, but he's just, yeah, he's got his own he's got his own thing going for him. So when you get to that point, like it is winnable, but the odds of you winning, especially when you're fighting like some of the best on those characters, it's kind of like you're playing with fire at that point. So you're better off switching, which is why I did switch on game 3, just to kind of see how I'd do. And I did a lot better with Testament. Now, the thing is, moving forward, I think, because I'm planning on going to UFA for the next tournament for Strive, I don't think it's possible to do a solo run in this current meta with like the characters that I mentioned. You need backups or like sub characters, right? It's unfortunate, like, because I'm a diehard, if you want to put it, like a Kai player. Like if I could play Kai against everyone, I would. But if you really want to win and like go as far as you can, you're gonna need to be able to be versatile with your character picks depending on the matchups, or just pick one of the top 3. That's just it. That's just the state of the game right now. There's no in between. You either have like different matchups, different characters to play for different matchups, or you just play top 3 and then leave it there. It's kind of hard to have that like player to player interactions where you can see like, oh, they know that this player does this a lot, so that player did this to counter that option. You know what I mean? At the moment in Strive, I feel like the matchups, especially in like a first to 3, you don't really see too much gameplay develop between the 2 characters or the 2 players that are playing, because it's it's a fast-paced anime fighting game with high damage. So you won't see much change or development of like defensive choices or stuff like that from most of the players or the cast, because they just put you in a win condition, and because the win conditions are so powerful and so strong, the match is over anyway. So you the only chance you'll get to see like somewhat of like a decent back and forth between the 2 players is round start and before wall break. The moment wall break happens and one person gets positive bonus, it's over. Like it's just, that's it. It's too hard to kind of like come back from that. And I know that's how the game's built, but it's still quite hard on a player to player basis, especially in a competitive scene where if your game's competitive, there's always going to be like top tier characters, but you still want to have somewhat of like a equal playing field. But obviously a top tier is going to be a bit like an edge above. I feel like in Strive, the characters are already like here, like really high up, and then on top of that, the system mechanics just skyrocket, and it becomes like, yeah, it just everyone's just swinging. So it's crazy. So for me, next steps, I think for UFA, if I do go, planning on going, I've got some friends over there that I want to meet, Smoib, etc. But yeah, if I do plan on going, I'm gonna have to play like different characters. You can't. It's not possible to do it with just Kai. And I'd love to see someone just win a whole tournament with like just Kai on his own, or one of these other characters like Geo. Internationally, like I know it happens in individual regions. Like you got people like Chihuahua, TY, and etc. winning their own tournaments. But like internationally, when everyone's there, I can guarantee you that Happy Chaos, Nago, Ram, probably Zato, one of those characters is gonna win. One of those characters will win in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, it's interesting. So we'll see how it goes. But that's the next steps for me. Now talking about travel, so I had a really bad travel experience, and it wasn't just me. It was a lot of other people that traveled to this event. At the airport, there's a security breach in Lyon, and it just messed everything up. It was really bad. The mix-up wasn't actually the tournament. I put a tweet out on this. It wasn't the tournament. It was the actual airport. Like, will you get your flight or not? That was the best 50-50 of the whole weekend. So I went there with my teammate at like 11 a.m. and the flight was for 2:50, so around 3 o'clock, right? We got there at 11 a.m. EasyJet, fast track, so you go straight through, you know what I mean? And we got there at 11 a.m. I was already checked in. The queue was from the escalators that go up into security, down the escalators, all the way down, like back, like past the shops, and then round and round. I was just like, yo, we were stuck in that queue for like 3 hours or something like that. And there's people in front of us that were fast trackers and that stuff, and they couldn't go through either. It's just locked off because of a security breach. So really, really bad. And then ended up not getting on the flight. A lot of people didn't get on the flight, and it was just really bad. So we had to like rebook for like a 9:40. So we was at the airport for roughly over like 10 hours, just sitting around. Like the whole FGC was pretty much in Burger King at one point, which was quite funny. Some people had little setups and it was playing. It was like little Steam decks. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I got back yesterday morning. It was really, really early, and I'm still kind of tired. Yeah, so pretty bad. EasyJet texted out to people, we can't offer you any vouchers or anything because technically your flight wasn't delayed. You guys just didn't get on it, despite no one could get on the flight because of the security breach at Lyon. The flights were locked off. No refunds, no nothing. It's just, yeah, pretty shoddy. So a lot of people said they're not going to fly with EasyJet again. I probably won't, definitely not, if that's the case. But yeah, other than that, it was a great experience. It was nice meeting everyone for the first time offline. Some people I had already met before because I went to Versifying, but again, yeah, it was really nice meeting everyone. Great venue. And yeah, so maybe you'll see me at UFA. I'm not sure what the plan is, but I think moving forwards, I'm going to try and play a pool of 3 characters, max, maybe 4, until this game gets balanced. But I don't see myself playing it continually if it's going to stay in the current state it is, because it's really unforgiving. And it's not even forgiving for you making mistakes. It's just like the forgiveness kicks in because you didn't pick a top tier. So yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Post your comments down below. Catch me live on Twitch as well. I'll be playing some Xrd, having a lot of fun learning Venom. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.